How Marion Works, a podcast series dedicated to informing you of the inner workings in all areas of Marion government and public services. Thank you for listening. Hello and welcome. This is Season 1, Episode 18 of How Marion Works. I'm your host, Layla Price-Bodkin. I'm also joined in studio today by my special co-host, Deana Vice. Welcome back, Deana.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you for sticking with me today for our next podcast. I like knocking out two at a time.
It's my pleasure.
You right? Today's episode focuses on the Opioid Settlement Fund Coordinator. Her name is Jayda Monteiro. Welcome, Jayda, to the podcast.
Hi.
Yay.
Thanks for having me.
And we got to know you a little bit because you were at the Bloom conference that was put on by Greater Grant County and the United Way.
It was a great
It was a good
event.
day.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It filled my cup in a way that I didn't know needed.
Same.
to be filled.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so
Yes.
wonderful. And you were one of the 4 speakers and breakout speakers. And I learned a lot from you, and I kind of needed that talk about boundaries. Mm-hmm. I really needed that, and I've been trying to put it into practice.
Absolutely. It's not an overnight thing. It's really
You're
not.
right.
Like, it takes time to implement it, for sure.
Right. Well, you definitely had a lot of good advice, and you are so knowledgeable about a lot of different things. I'm excited to get into all of your expertise, but we're going to start with a fun icebreaker. Just to start out, what is your favorite place to shop in Marion?
Oh, my.
I know.
Yeah. So I am probably, it's interesting that we started with the breakout session thinking because I am an introvert through and through. I will online shop. Amazon packages come to my home pretty regularly.
Same.
But if I am going out in Marion, I'm also like a bargain shopper. So I'm gonna go to like the TJ Maxx.
Oh, yes.
Love the TJ Maxx.
What my daughter calls it, PJ Mask. Can we go to PJ Mask?
Oh, that's cute.
That is so cute.
She likes to get her PJs there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The PJ Mask.
Well, Deana, do you share that, or do you have another one?
I do. I love TJ Maxx. This is funny. I love getting lost in the aisles of a Dollar Tree.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I do.
Yes.
I have a weird obsession with it.
I love Dollar Tree.
I love
goodies
it.
at Dollar Tree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on the Dollar Tree.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's good things. And they come out with new stuff all the time.
They do.
Yeah. I forget. Sometimes it's like it's an underrated luxury, Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I can really fill that cart quick. It's this false sense of, it's just $1.25.
Right.
Then before you know it, you've got 80 things.
I know.
that are $1.25. Yeah.
Right.
1,000%.
I knew I was in the presence of smart women because we are bargain shoppers, and I'm all about repurposing and reusing. So I love to shop at the resale stores. We have a few here. I love to go probably on a monthly basis to Renewed Boutique right downtown. I'm always finding treasures and different clothing items and even shoes and stuff like that. I love to go to Jake's Antiques and Annette's Treasures and just places like that to find those treasures.
Yeah.
So, okay, Jayda, we're going to get into where you're actually from. Were you born in Marion?
Born and raised.
Okay.
Born and raised in Marion, Indiana. I have lived here pretty much my entire life, except for a couple of years in undergrad.
Okay, so where did you go to high school?
Yeah, so I went to Marion. Giants Fight Never Die.
That's right.
What year did you graduate?
ND, baby.
2009.
Okay.
It was so much fun. I literally loved going to Marion. So much fun as a school.
I had a good time there too.
Right? Yeah. Like every season, I was a cheerleader.
Cool.
Oh,
So
That's busy. That's a busy
awesome.
life.
sports were the things, and I was in
gotcha.
innovations. Yeah, so I'm a show choir kid.
Yeah.
Yes, me too. Oh, all three of us.
Yes, look at that.
Break out into song.
That's right.
Yeah, so it was a high school period for me was a really great experience, being here in Marion. So yeah,
Cool. I would do it all over again. I would do high school all over again.
I don't know if I'd do it all over again.
I would do it. I would not do college all over again, but
I don't know. Something about that higher education. I feel like I could go for another degree, but I don't know that my family would agree with me.
I gotcha.
So,
so speaking of undergrad, where take us on that journey of your education experience after high school.
yeah, absolutely. So after I graduated high school, shout out to Marion for dual credits because I went into IUPUI as a second semester freshman.
Wow.
Now I think you can have an associate's degree before you graduate high school, which is really cool.
Yes.
That is amazing.
So yeah, I went in as a second semester freshman. I got my bachelor's degree from IUPUI in 3 years. Wow. I was like, full speed ahead. Let's go. Let's get it done. I got my bachelor's degree, and I was actually a child welfare scholar.
Nice.
So I worked for the Department of Child Services fresh out of college as a 21-year-old.
Was that in Indy?
It was No. So my home was in Wabash.
Okay.
Right? I love a rural community. Right? So yeah, I worked in Wabash for the department. And then I decided to get my master's degree from IU again. And I was like, I'm going to make a little switch in my career to make me more available. Did that and decided to have a baby.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm going to get my doctorate.
You go.
Yeah, right. I know.
I really want to get my doctorate. I want to focus on like practice and innovation and a little bit of research, all the things. So I am a social worker through and through. I have a bachelor's degree in social work, a master's degree in social work, and a doctorate in social work.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Man, you really like that field.
I love it. It is honestly one of the most definitely, I mean, I'm a little biased, but definitely one of the most underappreciated helping fields, period.
And probably one of the most needed.
Oh, all over. One of the things I loved in going into my bachelor's program where people were telling me you could work anywhere. There are social workers everywhere. Yeah. You could do just about anything. And I really didn't believe it right off the bat. But then as I grew in the field, I was like, wow, there's social workers. That's a social worker. There's a social worker in the insurance office. Why is there a social worker there? Like,
They're everywhere.
Isn't it amazing? It's just mind blowing. But
really cool. So so I worked for the department for a really long time. 10, 11, 12 years at the department. Before when I got my doctorate, I thought, I will move into executive leadership. I'll do something like that. And then a position at IU kind of just came open, and I didn't fall into my lap because the interview process was a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing falls into your lap when you have to interview in that way. But I got it. So I'm a professor at IU. Fort Wayne is my home campus in the School of Social Work. So it was a full circle moment. I knew even in getting my doctorate, my sister was like, you need to just purchase your regalia because you're going to wear it for years to come. And I was like, okay, you're right. But I thought teaching would be, many years off. But it turned out that I've been with IU now for almost 3 years. I'm going into my third year teaching. So
my goodness.
Amazing.
What does that look like? Are you going up to Fort Wayne a lot?
Yeah, so I teach in the bachelor's and master's program, and I teach courses in policy, some clinical courses, also in like human rights and diversity as well. My love is communities and organizations and leadership. I love them. But I'm there a couple of times a week. Our master's program is part-time evenings. So I teach in the evenings at least a couple of times a week. But IU is, especially the School of Social Work, I'm a little biased, is one of the best places to work. They really care about your professional development, your work-life balance. So I really wasn't concerned about having Fort Wayne as my home campus.
And you love that because you have your boundaries and you need that balance.
Yes,
right.
So that's great.
It. I love it. Yeah. It's pretty great.
So that is a full-time position that you have to this day.
Yes.
And then the city hired you recently as a contractor.
Yes.
With some funds that we were given from, was it the state of Indiana?
Yeah, so we are a part of the National Opioid Settlement through the state of Indiana. So we are kind of like a subdivision to be able to be provided those funds. It's really cool once kind of again like a full circle moment for me because I teach about the opioid settlement in my policy courses.
Oh my word.
Nice.
So when I actually saw the position come open, I was like, oh, that sounds like so much fun.
It like had your name all over it. Like really.
Sounds like so much fun. Yeah. Let me go ahead and submit my resume. Yeah. And I even did like some mock-up program development kind of things because that's where my fun is at, and said like, this is what we could do with this.
You love to strategize.
I love it. It is so much fun. So yeah, I became a contracted consultant because I had earlier in the year developed a business. I'd been receiving inquiries about like developing programs, consulting for certain things, speaking engagements, and I was like, I need something to house all of these projects. So I founded JMS is what we call it, but it's Jayda Monteiro Solutions, which is an LLC. And I was like, this is a perfect way for me to contract with the city and provide my expertise in that way.
So who are your other clients under this business besides the city?
I currently cannot take on any more clients. I also I'm a therapist part-time.
Okay.
So I have a small caseload of therapy clients. So between IU and my therapy clients that need me, and this project right now, I am not accepting any more clients.
Yeah, but it's usually so it's groups, it's organizations,
local government, and it could be nonprofit or profit businesses. But development of programmings, development of training, consulting on different impact and research, that kind of thing.
So the city approached you, or did you hear about it and you applied?
I heard about it, and I was like, I'll send my resume over.
Nice.
And see how it goes. So yeah.
Wow. So can you explain how that happened? I know that happened earlier this year, so 2025. And how did that happen? What was the funding? How did that? What was the funding, and basically what was the need?
Yeah. So the National Opioid Settlement, it is developed into restricted and unrestricted funds.
Right.
And so we have this large pot of money, I'll call it, right? And the majority of it has to be used in a restricted way.
Right.
Okay.
Meaning, so it has to be used for prevention or treatment of the opioid epidemic that we have. And I believe our mayor, and we've had this fund since about 2022, the settlement happened, and our mayor was like, I don't know that there's anybody on my staff that can take this on, right? To figure out how do we best use these funds, but they need to be used for what they're earmarked for.
Right.
Yeah. When really the unrestricted part can be used like a general fund. But our mayor was intentional in saying, no, we need to find someone who's able to figure out what it is that we need and how we can use these funds.
Yeah.
Good.
So they were able to allocate, or the city council approved an appropriation for the hiring of a consultant to be able to do the community needs assessment and make recommendations based on what those needs are, whether it be programming or capacity building of other organizations or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since day one, what have been your responsibilities or focuses? Starting?
Yeah, day one, I hit the ground running.
Yeah, you did.
you did.
You really did.
Yes,
I love it though. Yeah.
I hit the ground running. I was so excited. And I immediately started the community needs assessment. So a community needs assessment consists of reviewing data and literature about the area that you're in. A lot of that is seeking the research, seeking out those people who would have the data for you. So I immediately started with that. I then started setting up interviews. Sometimes it ended up being like a focus group almost, because people would bring groups of people in the addiction space, right? So, our recovery homes. I started there. If you're an addictions provider, I've contacted you, mental health providers in the area. And then also kind of laying out people who are working in the field every day and doing the work, right? I'm a therapist, so I'm able to have some insight as to some of the things that people are struggling with in this community.
And and you're like, you're part of that. Like as part of the research, because you're in it, you're in the arena.
Absolutely. But I'm not an addictions therapist though, right? So I was like, it's important for us to do those interviews as well. And then the second part is surveys. So I implemented a few different surveys, one for the community at large that we released a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. I've illustrated one for our school system, because I've been in communication with our Marion community schools about what does programming look like here? How do we implement prevention here? And what is it that they need?
They definitely need something.
Absolutely, right? So how do we figure that out, right?
I love that survey, by the way.
Thank
I have
you.
to.
Yes.
There was a question, or I guess it's a question, on the survey that was very profound for me. And this isn't the question verbatim, but it was basically, if you or someone you love needed care for an addiction, would you know what to do or where to go?
Yeah.
I could honestly say no.
Same.
I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
And that hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
It really did.
Well, and I think too, it's no one really knows how to handle a situation until it's in your backyard. Right. Until you're like, oh wow, we got to figure it out.
Right.
I love to say, especially as women, we're going to figure it out.
Always. Yes. Always. And I think that's why it hit me so hard, Jayda, is because, as women, we figure that out. Yeah. I mean, our child is sick. We take them to the doctor.
Yeah.
We know what to do. So I think that's where it triggered me personally, was I wouldn't know what to do, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Being prepared for all kinds of crises. And that is definitely one important one.
Absolutely.
That is a really great self-reflection.
Absolutely.
Honestly. It's a really good self-reflection. And honestly, I don't know that I was, when I was preparing the survey, I was gearing up to, like, I'm thinking, how do I expose where our gaps are? Right. So if it's, we don't even know how to get to treatment or how to have the conversations, I need to know that. Right. So we can develop something around it.
Yes.
But I think those questions are supposed to be thought provoking. Right. They're supposed to make you really like, wait, could I?
Absolutely.
Could I have this conversation with my youth about what this looks like and what that means?
If it's an epidemic, it can definitely hit you.
Anyone.
Yes.
Right?
No one is immune to this. This goes beyond race, class. I mean, this can literally happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could have a doctor that just prescribes you an opioid and you're like, you think nothing of it.
Right.
You maybe didn't even read everything on the bottle, and it just becomes like...
Fascinating enough, that's how these funds came about, right? Doctors were prescribing these opioids, and the messaging around them wasn't clear, was even deceitful at times, right? As to how dangerous it was and how addictive it was. No, it doesn't discriminate. It does not discriminate. And I think... I think the knowledge around it, if we make it more common, if we normalize the conversation, that might do us some good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take the stigma off of it.
Away from it, for sure.
Because it is a health issue.
Yeah.
It really is.
I love that.
And we're all in it together.
Yes.
So when you hit the ground running, first of all, I would love to know, because, you wanted to figure this out. And when you were reaching out for that data, what organizations or sources were the most helpful for you? Or, what were all those buckets? You can definitely summarize.
1,000%. I would say there's buckets that I'm still waiting on, right? Because I don't know. Honestly, if you are not consistently being asked for how many people are you treating, what's the demographic that you're treating, right? What are they coming in asking for? What's the substances that you're seeing the most? If you're not consistently being asked those things, I've had several people say, I don't have it on hand, but I will work on it and I will get it to you, right?
Yes.
So I asked for that data from our recovery homes. I reached out to our law enforcement. Because that has been a large part of my assessment, not just assessing the community as whole, but also assessing our city. Our city employees, our public safety team. How well prepared are you? What can we do to support you more?
Exactly. This is only going to help them.
Right.
And they're responding, right? They're responding to this before anyone else.
Yeah.
Before we find out about it, our public safety people are on the ground. So I reached out, the sheriff's department, Chief Gilbert, Detective Stefanatos. They're all on they're all extremely helpful, whatever you need.
Shout out to them, they are great.
Shout out to them. Shout out to the fire department. Chief Gar, actually, he's like, what do you want to talk about? When I sent them because I sent them a public safety needs assessment, he's like, so when you want me to get this out, I'm asking permission to disseminate the survey, not just do it. I'm asking would you mind? Yeah, I'll get it to you by Friday. No worries. So cool. Very helpful in doing that. I've also met with representatives, of our health department, Indiana Health Centers, Bridges to Health, right? Low cost healthcare. What are we seeing there? Radiant Health. They are our sole addictions provider in Grant County, right? So extremely important to get their point of view.
It's good that they are growing. It sounds like that's important.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah.
Okay, that's helpful, and so you're digging in locally. So
everywhere. Yeah.
and that the opioid crisis is not just in Marion. So, but is there anything about Marion specifically that stands out as unique in our struggle? What challenges specifically are we facing? Yeah. Or maybe it's too early to tell because you are still in the fact-finding phase.
Very much in the fact-finding phase. So typically with a team of people completing a community needs assessment, it could take 4 to 6 months.
And we are still in the process as we are recording this podcast today of taking the survey. And so I know you're getting ready to wrap it up, but do you feel like you need more time with it at this point?
With the survey?
Yes.
I think... I don't know that I need more time with the survey. Honestly, I wasn't expecting as many responses as we've gotten thus far.
Good.
I only because I asked around and said, "Hey, how's it gone when you've done a survey before? How many responses do you get?" And we've gotten about 500.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you, community. Thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to you. It is obvious how important this is to everyone. So I'm not sure that I need to sit with the survey as much as I need to keep reaching out to the community partners that we have, and also the people who I've had people come to me who are ready to innovate in Marion. They're like, we've been doing these things and we see something new that could be beneficial and we want to talk to you about it. With that comes, then I'm researching. I'm like, well, is it?
Now you're put to work.
How effective is it? Let's look at it. So much fun. The biggest thing that I see in Marion, a challenge, is we don't always know we're a small close-knit community. But it doesn't always seem like our right hand knows what our left hand is doing.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
And that, I think, can be a challenge for us. I think that, especially now, not every issue are we going to be able to come together and help solve. But with this one, it's going to take all of us.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
right.
going to take all of us, even if we agree to disagree in certain areas, to say, well, this is the stance that we're taking when it comes to this epidemic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How Marion Works is sponsored by the City of Marion. This podcast covers the inner workings of city government to better serve you.
Yeah, that's so important. You are definitely going about this the right way, a very thoughtful way. And, you know, in your fact finding, you're learning from the different groups that you've reached out to. You're starting to learn how it has actually impacted them each as an organization, an agency. You know, the question to you is, how has the opioid epidemic impacted Marion families, schools, and other services? Is there anything that you want to delve into, whether it's the families? And that is quite a big question. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're learning at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll start with services because it's the easiest. They are overloaded. They are trying to meet a need that is extremely great. And we don't have the capacity, right? Whether it be the staff, whether it be the amount of space, the time, the need is so great that we are doing the absolute best that we can with what we have, right? So that's what I'll say about services. I mean, I think I wouldn't say that the opioid epidemic in itself has been the greatest effect on the families and schools. And let me explain why.
Okay.
The opioid epidemic is the effect of a cause. And the cause in Marion and Grant County for a long time has been poverty, untreated mental illness. Also, just some generational emotional dysregulation and trauma that has not been addressed. And what we have seen is we have started to use substances and escalated to opioid use as a response.
Yeah.
So the opioid epidemic is a response here, right? I would say all of those other things, the causes, is what is impacting our schools and our families the most.
Yeah.
And I think that our schools are suffering in the sense that they are trying to provide a space of safety and healing in a space that is supposed to be focused on education.
Yes. They're taking 2 steps back, or they're feeling like they have to.
They have to, right? Well, and I think that our schools, thank goodness, they're incorporating social emotional learning, right? So really meeting the student where they are, teaching them how to regulate those emotions in real time, which is extremely important to me. That's what my doctorate dissertation is on, is emotional regulation. And I think in doing that, you combat the risk of opioid use or substance abuse, right?
Yeah.
For families, I think, I don't know if there is any specific toll that addiction can take that looks like any other one in a family, right?
Yes.
Like it.
Yes. And sometimes it has other things involved, like domestic violence and
Right? Sometimes it's a ripple effect of things.
Yeah, it's not cookie cutter at all.
At all. And each family reacts to it differently.
Right.
But I will say that we are not special in that our families are suffering. And I think that what really excited me about taking on this position is like, oh, we could do some good. we can use this and we can make an impact in that area to make these resources available and accessible.
well, I love it. You're a natural problem solver, and we are so lucky to have you, Jayda.
We are.
say that. I'm going to take a real quick break. Everyone, stay connected with us by following City of Marion IN on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok, as well as our website, cityofmarion.in.gov, and on the new My Marion app, a free download through your Apple Store or Google Play Store. Okay, our second icebreaker with Jayda and Deana, we're going to focus on something that may be relevant to what we're even talking about. But how do you like to get your news these days? Okay, Jayda.
The news.
Or do you just opt out?
I have strict boundaries with the news.
Okay.
Very strict boundaries with the news. I mean, especially at the national, since sometimes even at the state level, right?
Yeah.
I have strict boundaries with how much I'm taking in because it weighs on me emotionally and mentally.
Yep.
Obviously, if I feel like if there's something that needs to be communicated with me, I will receive an email. I will. I'll get the direct communication. Outside of that, especially to keep up locally, I follow Channel 27. Shout out to Rashard Tyson. He is my first cousin, actually. So shout out to him. He's doing amazing things.
He is definitely working so hard.
Yes.
I'm so proud of him. But yeah, so I follow Channel 27 locally. And then I'm not above sending a little message to the mayor. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not above it. What's happening here? Most of the time, he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, but it's fine.
Yeah, he's got his ear to the ground.
Yeah.
Well, good deal. And it's good to know that you have that boundary. And I think we all need to know that because it definitely can weigh on you and your mind can just be full of just the information intake. And some of that is worrisome. And you can just let that worry or just the unknowns of, what's happening or the fear take over. And so that's good. I'm glad you mentioned that, Jayda. Deana, how do you like to get your news?
I take in all forms of news, so not only television but social media, newspaper. I like to stay informed. It's important with what I do to keep informed, but at the same time I am very careful with how much of it I consume, and I try to avoid negativity.
That's great. And that's good that you do that because you're a positive person and negativity can drain you.
It can, and I don't have a place for it in my life.
And that you can only control your life, your family.
That's right.
I love that.
That's what we all have to remember. Me coming from a news background, I had to get my news from the state. I have to get my news from everywhere. The AP, I remember getting that. I started out in Kokomo and I was doing news there. And then I became the news director here for the WBAT Hoosier AM/FM stations. And so I would get my news, going to the meetings, going to the school board meetings and the city council and the county commissioners and just gathering all of that all the time. So I was ingrained, and that's actually how I got this job today, just learning about all of the projects and struggles and issues.
I love that you mentioned that, Layla. I think that's a really good point to bring up, in consuming the news, right? Because it's one thing about hearing something and then learning about it, right? So typically, I check city council meeting notes, right? And oftentimes I'm like, wait, what's that? So then I have to dig deeper, right? And really have to learn about these things. I serve on the utility board, the Marion Utility Board. So I kind of know what's happening. Not kind of, I do. But there's often times where I'm just like, I gotta dig deeper, right? We're working on a long-term plan and have been for 10 years. I've been on the board for a year. Okay, well, I need to go find the information. I try very hard not to take something at face value and run with it, because it's counterproductive. At least for me, it's counterproductive. I'm a solution focused type of person, so I want the information that I'm taking in to be able. It's something that I can be able to do something about.
Right. Yeah. And you have that at your fingertips. We do have the minutes for all of these boards that the mayor has appointed appointments to. And I just wanted to mention that that's important that you have that access. cityofmarion.in.gov. You can go to the boards section, but it's actually the minutes and agendas. So, hey, I mean, you can learn all the time, and not just get the newspaper's perspective of it. You can just go straight there. Yeah. So, yeah, that's good to mention. But yeah, I do have to limit myself with the news. It is, you can listen to the perspectives, like the personalities, and I think people get a little bit more tuned into that than just people just trying to report on the news. The opinions. And then I know people that have the news on all the time at home, and I don't get it.
Boy.
Like, I don't get how they. How they could do that.
That would do me, and I couldn't.
No,
I couldn't do it.
Absolutely not.
So Jayda, now that you are, you're in this problem-solving phase of your role here with the city, using the opioid settlement funds, and are you already seeing a gap in care or support anywhere at this point? And if not, we can move on.
Yeah, no, I am. And it is, and I kind of already mentioned it, which is why I went to the school system directly.
Yes.
Is looking at, like, what does prevention even look like here? I remember when I was in school and we had DARE officers.
I was just about to say, do we still have DARE?
We don't.
I didn't think so.
Really,
and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So
why not? Why don't we have them?
I think it was something that just kind of phased out. Like when the funding phased out, it phased out everywhere, not just here.
Right.
But now there's new evidence-based practices that you can utilize for prevention. So prevention is a huge one for me, that I've been looking at. Also, at least from the standpoint of our public safety officials, what I've seen is we're lacking in some of that warm handoff. So shout out to Radiant Health for creating the mobile crisis unit to respond. Shout out to you all for doing that, taking that on for our community. It's very much needed, and they're working closely with not just law enforcement, but other organizations can call them and say, hey, we're having this issue. Can you respond? But in the event that we respond and there is no crisis mobile response or needed for that day, they're looking for someone to follow up, right? To go to that person and say, hey, I know you didn't want to talk about treatment today, and really maybe I'm not equipped to do that, but someone's going to call you tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So just like a warm handoff, right? It takes multiple times to engage someone to change. So in doing that, and then also how do we multiply? How do we increase capacity for our addiction services here? Like I said earlier, I think we have many mental health providers here, whether they're in private practice, private group practice. We have a lot, but we have one addictions provider, right? Radiant Health.
Wow.
That's just wow.
And they're doing everything they can. Wow. They are working so hard and doing everything they can. And so how do we increase their capacity, or how do we increase the capacity of others to step into that realm, right? To provide more. And I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Everyone's gonna say, well, there's no detox or inpatient treatment here, right?
Right.
And I am gonna be so honest with you all and tell you that we don't have enough money to bring that here.
I gotcha.
Our fund's not gonna pay for that. Because it costs so
too
much. And this fund, yes, we will receive biannual payments for the next 10 to 13 years, but it is not nearly enough to cover the budget of an inpatient or detox residential treatment center.
Yep. So we are going to continue to get funding as the years go.
Yes.
For the next, how many years did you say?
I think it is until 2038.
Okay.
That we will, but the additional payments are minimal. In comparison to what the original payout was.
Okay, gotcha.
They would not even cover a salary of a staff person. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that's another thing that I'm being very mindful of as we prepare to make recommendations and ask for appropriations. Is I love a good innovation. I love a good innovation. Developing something new. But we really want to be mindful of something that's sustainable for our
I was just
community.
about to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're already looking at the gap in funding. You're already realizing that is going to be a problem. And you're already looking at like the prevention and how huge that is. And so when you start to make decisions, I know that a committee is forming at this time. And what is that committee and who is it comprised of?
Yeah. I'm really excited about the committee. We've not had our first meeting yet.
Well, it's forming.
It's right. Our first meeting's in a couple of weeks. And I'm shout out to everyone who, when I reached out to them, was like, "Will you serve on this committee?" And they were like, "Yeah, I'll do that." Without hesitation. I really appreciate that. So I developed the committee with some city employees. Some that, have a good pulse, maybe not on specifically addictions and services, but a good pulse on what the community may need.
Yes.
Or what they're seeing in the community. And then I also just reached out to community members. I reached out to one of our recovery residences. I reached out and said, "Hey, can I get some recommendations on who you would want to see serve on this committee?"
Yes.
And who else do you think that I need to talk to?
That's
right?
awesome.
I am being mindful in not adding members to the committee that could potentially request the funds, right? We don't want to get into a space where there's a conflict of interest and now we have to go through all of these waivers on top of that. But I would really, I have space for a couple more spots on the committee. So if you all think of anyone, I would really love someone. If you are even in recovery, working in the addiction space, I would just ask that you be mindful of, is your organization going to ask for funds at some point? And if not, send me a little email. Okay.
That's good. That's good. And Deana, I know Deana is going to serve on your committee.
Yes.
I am happy to.
I'm
Happy
so
to.
excited.
Deana is the Neighborhood Association Coordinator for the city, and she definitely has a good pulse on every single neighborhood in the city. And not only that, but who they are connected to, whether it be churches or, just different groups. So I just think that's a wonderful asset for your committee. I know you have law enforcement involved.
We have law enforcement involved. We have our controller is going to serve on the committee. Everyone may not know that Deana is a master's level social worker.
That's
She
right.
so is.
She is a master's level social worker. Shout out to her. She has been phenomenal in this community.
Yeah,
She
absolutely.
has taught in this community. She has ran systems of care. She has been a therapist. She is involved through
Wonderful.
and through. So yeah, I'm super excited for her as well.
And she's not going to be asking you for any money unless she's like,
No, she's going to be the one cutting the checks. So
There you go.
so I feel like we're good with that. But yeah, I've also reached out to therapists of other organizations that perhaps there's a therapist from Indiana Health Centers that maybe they could seek a partnership, but they wouldn't be a part of that proposal or asking for approval for that. That wouldn't be within their realm or their role to do so. I had someone from the VA reach out to me and say, "Yeah, I'd serve."
oh, that would be great.
Which is fantastic.
Yes.
Tanya Smith-Nellums from the Minority Health Coalition.
I love her so much.
She's
amazing.
I will absolutely serve on the committee. So yeah, I'm still just seeking, right? Seeking
Yes.
to make, because the other piece of the committee is I wanted to make sure that it was diverse voices.
Yes.
I mean, I think I am fabulous, but I don't want a group of people who are going to agree with me. I really enjoy being challenged. I really enjoy that. And I think it's necessary to this committee represent the voices of the community, not just one particular belief or person.
Right. Yeah. That's great.
Now, I know you want to see change happen overnight, because you're
1000%.
so motivated. But, over the next few years, what realistically do you hope will happen over the next few years regarding change and impact?
Yeah, so particularly from Marion, what I would love to see, and let me start with Marion's recovery community is strong. It is robust. And shout out to you all for your organizations, for your commitment, your dedication to the people of Marion, of Grant County, right? What I would love to see is us empowering that community more, and also assisting in the standardizing of their care, right? However that looks like, right? Whether it be leaning on our ethical decision makings and responsibilities, and professionalism when it comes to for those things, right? I really would love to talk more about what trauma informed care looks like in all of those spaces.
Yeah.
I just think it's a necessary conversation everywhere, right? I would also like to see us really just as a community, like I said, we don't have to agree about everything, but I think if we're going to have an opinion, we should be educated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we all need to be on the same page.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're like right now, we're all in the same book, different chapters. I'd like for us to get, in the same chapter. We ain't gotta like it. We don't gotta like the book, the topic being discussed. But if we could get to that space, I also think that it is just going to speak volumes if we're able to really increase our capacity and show others that we want to attract to Marion. Like, this is how we feel. This is how we want you to thrive if you move here, no matter how you show up. And this is what we could do in that capacity to help.
Wonderful. So I know that you said that you still have openings in your committee.
Absolutely.
Is there a preferred way that you would like for one to reach out to you, whether it be for that or just to reach out to you with information that they may have?
Oh, yes. I have so many business cards. Shout out to Layla for ordering my business cards.
You got it.
But yeah, so if you could just send me an email, my name, Jayda Monteiro, last name, Monteiro, at cityofmarion.in.gov. Yeah, anything really. Even if you're like, I don't want to serve in the community, but I want to talk to you about these things.
Yes.
Right. I'm happy to meet with you. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Also, if you're like, I don't really want to meet with you, but I think you need to go talk to these people. Well, let's do that. Right? I'm completely open to that.
That's good. So speaking of just the community and how they can either provide input or just help you at this point, is there anything that we need to know as a community that can maybe assist you, or at least what we can do to maybe better educate ourselves?
Yeah. I think at this point, we're still in the fact-finding stage, right?
Yes.
So I do have an intention, and this will come before the committee, on how we release the information from the survey, how we want to release the results of the community needs assessment once it's completed. I do think you can take some things into your own hands, right? You can look at the CDC reports. You can access our youth report. IYI does an amazing youth report every year. And it's going to tell you about quality of life here in Marion. I would love to see this community get more educated on harm reduction and what that actually means, because we are so split in that area. I'm finding that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think just continuing to really fill your bag. That's what I call it, right? Fill your bag with good information, less opinions, more facts.
Yes.
Because opinions only take us so far.
Amen.
Everybody has one.
Right.
That's right. Everybody's got a microphone for it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Or a keyboard.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
A keyboard. Here I am with the microphone. No, but speaking of just, maybe this podcast is a good way to maybe share this episode. We're going to get this out and share it and promote it as much as possible, because, this is one step in educating our community that we have the funds and we have you, Jayda.
Thank you.
And shout out to Kyron.
I'm so happy
that you're here in his studio and your husband's studio.
I mean, technically, it's
great.
my studio too.
Yeah, that's right. Jayda,
That is true.
I'm just saying.
But seriously, you really are the perfect person for this.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know, something that I thought about with this position, and Kyrie and I have talked about this a bit. Many moons ago, when my daughter was about 1, my sister and I established a nonprofit organization called the Amara House. And our goal was to establish a recovery home that also accepted survivors of domestic violence. And we wanted a space where you could bring your children. At the time, we had figured that there was a gap, right? If there was a shelter for domestic violence, but if you had substance abuse issues, they were like, I don't know.
Right.
There was a homeless shelter, but if you had other issues, they were like, I don't know, right? And we're like, wait a minute, all of these things are intertwined.
Yep.
Right? Shout out to my sister. She's a survivor. So many moons ago, right? We were like, we're going to do this thing. And we heard so many no's. We heard so many no's. And after much reflection, obviously I love where we are now. I was like, oh, those no's were protection. Those no's were protection for me. It wasn't my calling, right? And so it redirected me to this space, and here I am, full circle, being able to say yes to some things, right?
I love
yes,
that. I love that.
To really facilitate the yes in good ways. So I'm excited.
Yes, I'm a true believer in rejection is always protection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow,
Love
Jayda,
that
thank you so much.
Jayda.
I've really enjoyed getting to know you in a lot of levels today, even more. And it's just a pleasure to get to work with you with the City of Marion. So thank you for being on today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the How Marion Works podcast. Follow us on social media. Listen to the podcast on platforms like Apple, Spotify, and all other major platforms. Episodes release every other Monday at 5 a.m., so be on the lookout. Archives are found at howmarionworks.com. For Jayda Monteiro, Deana Vice, I'm Layla Price-Bodkin, and this is How Marion Works. Thank you for listening to the How Marion Works podcast. We hope you'll join us next time.